Hey YouTube, Brian LCS with the Amazing Spider-Man number 42 review. This is the ongoing gang war storyline. So let's jump in, and then we start off here with the map of Manhattan or New York City area, and all the different um, gangs and territories that have been taken up by the different bad guys. So this has kind of been an evolving map as the story has been going on. We've got Zeb Wells writing, John Romita Jr. on art, Scott Hanna inker, and Marcio Menez on colors. Apologize if I butchered any of those names, but let's jump in. So we pick up where we left off from last issue. Kingpin and Tombstone were kind of locked in this battle, fighting. Kingpin had returned, and there's been this kind of battle back and forth. He got a phone call at the end of last issue, and basically he said it's over. And so, but we weren't sure what that meant. And so there's this dialogue back and forth. And She-Hulk jumps in here and says, "Look, I'm a lawyer. Take it from me. He's being evasive when he says it's over." Tombstone kind of feared the worst, that maybe his daughter was killed. But then we cut to the battle here, and we realize that Kingpin sent in some men to basically retrieve the rose, not harm Tombstone's daughter. So again, there's this conversation is back and forth with them, and Kingpin finally kind of admits, and then Spider-Man kind of jumps in and says, "Well, why did you come in and start picking a fight then?" And he was like, "Well, Kingpin says I wanted to blow off a little bit of steam. My wife and I had a little bit of an argument, so he wanted to basically throw some punches to blow off some steam." So and then we cut back to Janice, Tombstone's daughter, the Beetle, with her gang, and they're kind of trying to figure out what's going on, what just happened. And then we see that Digger was part of the Rose's muscle, and he was kind of left there abandoned, and they basically let him know that and convince him to join up with the Beatles crew. So and then we cut to Madame Mask, and she's having this conversation with Shotgun, who initially had put a hit on Tombstone several issues ago. And we see that she's discussing having some magic control. We see this little symbol on Tombstone's on Shotgun's arm, and so she's saying that she is mastering both worlds of technology and magic. So it seems like Shotgun is under her kind of control somehow. And then we cut to the mayor, Luke Cage. Spider-Man has reached out to kind of check in with him to see what's going on, to try to get some help with Madame Mask, because she is kind of been the major player in the story right now. And he basically says, look, he can't help. He's got his hands full. And I know there's some other storylines that are happening parallel to the gang war story. There's a Luke Cage story, so we're not getting the full picture. But then we cut to a meeting of the minds here between the two big rival gangs who really have had the upper hands in this whole gang war. It's Janice, the Beetle, Tombstone's daughter, and Madame Mask, who's been taking out some of the other leaders, bosses in the city. And so they kind of had this heart-to-heart and kind of swap stories, saying, look, we have similar backgrounds. Our dads were bad people, and tried to protect us from it, but we're strong women. There's this whole conversation back and forth. I mean, you can see it's 5 or 6 pages, but that's kind of the gist of it. And so they agree that they are going to meet, for battle with their respective with teams, gangs, whatever you want to call them. And so ultimately we see this Tombstone and Spider-Man and She-Hulk parting ways. And there's just basically some conversation here about, what happens if she loses? What happens if Beetle wins? And so there's this conversation here, but we see Spider-Man and She-Hulk off to say, basically they need to stop this, stop this war. So Flipped ahead. So we see this last page where, or second to last page where, the kind of crews have assembled here in Central Park for this kind of all-out battle. And we see that Madame Mask is being powered, and some of her team is being powered by some technology from Rabble. Rabble is a villain in Miles Morales, and Rabble has been working with the Hobgoblin. So that kind of storyline ties in here. And, then we ultimately see this kind of splash page in Central Park where we have, it's kind of, this big epic battle with these two teams, and that's kind of where we leave off. And so, this issue was really kind of, not a lot really happened for me in this storyline. This kind of back and forth with Tombstone and Kingpin, and then this back and forth with Janice, the Beetle, and Madame Mask. So not much really happened, but it's obviously leading up to this big fight in Central Park between these two rival gangs, and now we'll see what Spider-Man and his team will bring to the table as well. So yeah, overall, reading this, it really kind of felt like a filler issue, like not much really happened, and kind of anticlimactic that Kingpin returned and now he's basically stepping out of the fight. So this was okay for me. I'll go 2 webheads out of 5. Not really, like I said, it really kind of felt fluffy, kind of fillery for me. So, but let me know down in the comments what you think if you're reading along with this. Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen, and obviously next issue with the big fight, and what the heroes bring to do, what they're going to do to try to stop it. But yeah, Gang War started out strong, and now for me it's kind of fizzled. But we'll see. I think we still have a number of issues to go before the storyline wraps up. But that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think.